Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in my lab. Oh, I'm back in the book. I got some good stuff for you coming up. Let's do what we do. Writism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in to receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is to get all right thinkers to know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. You see where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. It's rhetorical, but if you have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not. They simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. We on page 30. Or 31 now, but we rolling through the book. I know your theology. Okay, so this is the lesson of right thinkers. Let's talk about where we at. Okay, the disciplines of yoga. Good lesson. Let's go break it down for you, hopefully. Now, the disciplines of yoga fall under 5 major categories. They got others, but these are the 5 majors, okay? Like the chakra system is 112, but we're going to deal with the 7. But this is the 5 disciplines of yoga. Watch this. This is right thinking philosophy, all right here. Let's go. These are yoga of wisdom, yoga of devotional love, yoga of meditation. Then you got tantric yoga. Then you got yoga of self-action. Now, each one of these in their own rights will give you different views and concepts about your character. And like they say, it's better to have it and don't need it than need it and don't have it. It tells you can pick the one that resonates with you best, and that's true. But I say master them all. That way you don't have to worry about what you don't have. Okay? This life lesson. You gonna get them all. Ain't but 5. Now within these categories, there are again subsidiary forms which are part of the main disciplines, again, offshoots, spin-offs. And the emphasis in the Asarian myth, that's the non-mythology, okay, is a yoga of wisdom. You're learning about yourself, aspect of your character, hence yoga of wisdom. And you have yoga of devotional love, which is you showing for God, okay? And you have yoga of selfless action. That's known as Maya, okay? Those are all the things that you can practice, learn, manifest, and learn for yourself and be your best self. Watch this. But now the important point to remember is that all these aspects of yoga can and should be used in an integral fashion when needed, okay, to the effect of efficient and harmonized spiritual movement in the practitioner, meaning you. You got to know when to use knowledge of wisdom, okay, yoga of wisdom, yoga devotional. You are the dictator of those things, and once you master them, you know how to use them at your whim. So therefore, while they may be an area of special emphasis, I have one. We all do. They tell you to pick one. But other elements are bound to become part of the yoga program. Watch this. As needed. Again, You only use what you need. It's better to have something and not need it than to need something and not have it. This is a philosophy. Let's go. So, for example, while a yogin may place emphasis on the yoga of wisdom, I do, they may also practice devotional yoga and meditation, I do. And along with that, you got what? Yoga along with wisdom studies. You can practice all of these interchangeable. Why? When you need them. Again, wisdom, learning. Devotion to God, staying God conscious, doing the right thing, hold yourself accountable. And my favorite, yoga meditation. That's when you have your one-on-one with your higher self, aka God. That's the purpose and the principle of that. And it's a philosophy that you can practice and master. So the practice of any spiritual discipline that leads what? Leads one to oneness with who? The supreme conscious can be called yoga. Egyptian yoga, okay? If you study, rationalize, and reflect upon the teachings, you are practicing yoga of wisdom. Again, one of my favorites. If you meditate upon the teachings and your higher self, you will get what? Said wisdom and understanding from a higher perspective. And that means you are practicing what? Yoga of meditation. Becoming one with your higher self. That's a yoga concept that's second to none. And watch this. If you practice rituals which identify you with your spiritual nature and as a Mason, everything is ritualistic. Why? To impress upon you the importance, the significance of the knowledge that you're about to undertake. And I agree 100%. So understanding that, and it's all about identifying with your nature. So I understand rituals. My man Bobby Hammond, that's his thing. You are practicing yoga of ritual identification. Each level of Masonic order, you get a degree, and it's all done with a ritualistic ceremony, in which is part of what they call yoga of wisdom and yoga of devotional love of the divine. Your love, and most Christians practice devotional love. Why? For divine. They love God. They call him Christ Jesus, but they love him, so they're going to follow and be obedient. I got no problem with that at all, okay? But watch this now. If you develop your physical nature, mean working out, and your psychic energy centers, your chakras, line them all up, understanding how to work, you are practicing what? Serpent power. Again, that's right thing in philosophy. Y'all know it as Kundalini or Uranus. You see me doing this? Okay? That's the serpent going up. Okay, another lesson, but it's a yoga philosophy, which is what? It's part of the tantric yoga. That's the physical sitting in lotus position. I'm not doing that. Kama Sutra, different sexual poses. I'm not doing that. I'm too old, so I know that. Didn't have to master that. Why? Don't need to. Have no use for that. So that's what I know about. Familiar with it. Practice it. Not only for the mental part, only for the aspect of conceptual, not the physical part. Why? I'm not bending my knees and I'm not getting the lotus position. Moving on. If you practice living according to what? The teachings of ethical behavior and selflessness, you are practicing my favorite, yoga of action, aka or selfless action, aka Maya, where in your daily life. That's the philosophy that I live by daily, right there. It says it all for me right there. Okay, but watch this. Now, if you practice turning your attention towards God, the divine, by developing what? Love for the divine, spiritually conscious, I call spiritual discipline, holding yourself accountable to be virtuous, righteous, in what? In accordance to the higher self, which is God. Then what that? Then it is called devotional yoga of what? Yoga or devotion of the divine love. Yoga of divine love. Meaning most Christians love Christ. So to them, that's God, and they love God. Not a problem at all. And when that holds them accountable to do, be, and act in a Christian-like form, I got nothing but respect for them. Understand that I don't have to practice it. Why? I got the philosophy that they practice. They just don't see it that way, but I understand that, so I respect it. When it's done that way, it can't be nothing but respected. The practitioner of yoga is called a yogin. Male, I'm a yogin, but I'm really a yogi. Watch this. What you mean? I'll tell you in 1 second. The practitioner of yoga is called a yogin, which is male practitioner, or yogini with the I, which is the female practitioner. And I've been doing this now for over 14 years. And watch this. And one who has attained what? Mastery or the accumulation of the yoga philosophy, union with the divine, is called a yogi. Yeah. Remember Yogi the bear? Boo-boo. Yeah. He was smarter than what? The average bear. Why? He knew how to get that picnic basket that he wanted. Okay? No similarity there. Okay? But in the symbology behind that, again, he was slick. He outsmarted the ranger. But when he got in trouble, who was there for him? The ranger. So the ranger wasn't a bad guy like your ego. Just needs some shaping. Needs some controlling. How about that? But moving on, excuse me. But in this manner, you got a yoga. You got yoga, and has been developed into what? Many disciplines, which may be used in an integral fashion to what? Achieve the same common goal. You ready? Spiritual enlightenment. Everything you do to raise your consciousness is to get you enlightened to who? Know thyself. I just gave the Nihas lesson. And therefore, you, the aspirant, right thinker, should learn about what? All of the paths of yoga. And then choose those elements. Not one. It says those elements which best suit his or her personality and practice. And by practicing them, what? All in an integral, balanced way, aka Maya. Maintain the balance and the understanding of everything you do. You can practice that when? Daily. Where? In your life. You ain't got to wait for nobody. No, you can implement that philosophy right now. Enlightenment is a term used to describe what? You ready? The highest level of spiritual awakening. It means attaining such a level of spiritual awareness that one discovers the underlying unity of the what? The entire universe, as well as the fact that the source of all creation is the same source from which the innermost self within every human heart arises. We're connecting you with God. The essence of who you are is God. We've been trying to do that, and I'm still doing it. I got a whole book of information to do just that. That's all my goal is. That's what I'm on a mission to do. So understand that if that's you tuned in for something other than that, this ain't where you need to be. Because that's what I'm going to get. That's what you're going to get from me. Knowledge of self. Let's go. And how to use it, obtain it, use it, and master it. Why? That's the art of knowing thyself. So I'm going to get it right now. All forms of spiritual practice that's directed toward the goal of assisting every individual to discover what? Their true essence of what? The universe, both externally in physical creation, the world, and more importantly, internally, mentally, consciously, within the human heart and mind. Heart-mind coherence. When they become one, you and God can make that connection. And watch this. And as the very root of human consciousness, thus many terms are used to describe the attainment of this goal, which we call in Egypt nihas, of what we know as obtaining spiritual knowledge, reaching the highest level, and the eradication of what? Of spiritual ignorance. I'm raising you from being spiritually dead to life, what? With spiritual knowledge, understanding of yourself. That's what I do for you, okay? Some of these terms, let me tell you about it, what you heard about. Everybody probably heard of every one of them. And watch this. Enlightenment, resurrection, salvation, the kingdom of heaven, born again, moksha or liberation, Buddha in India, called Buddha consciousness. Y'all call it Christ consciousness for y'all, or y'all got the kingdom of heaven. And watch this, for the Chinese, one with the Tao. And it's all about what? Self-realization to what? You ready? My favorite, to know thyself. I can go on, but I'm hoping you get the concept. Right. That's the whole goal. That's the mission for us as right thinkers, really as human beings. But those who choose to make this path, that's what you're going to do. What? Your goal is to get knowledge of self. Okay? And watch this. Where we at? I got one more. I got a little bit of time. I got another page and a half, but I got good stuff. How about that? This is more information. Here we go. All those things recognizing or name for you knowing that self. That's all it comes down to. You can call it whatever you want. But if you put the work in, live a righteous and virtuous lifestyle, when daily, good things that happen. Those are called blessings. When you got karma, that means you've done something that deserves what? Not a blessing, but the call. Moving on. When you can eradicate that karma from being that means you're doing the right thing. You're living right. You're doing right. And you will be rewarded for doing just that. Trust me. Listen to Mr. Right. Now, the term, you know I'm anti-religion, right? I'm going to break religion down for you. Hope you can get an understanding and better perspective. The term religion comes from, you ready? Latin. Who was Latin? You know? White. And starting off, it's Latin for religare, okay, which uses the word root re. Now, re means what? Back, to pull, to hold, to bind, okay? That's re, that's the first part. And religion means to hold, to bind. So they trying to what? What they doing with religion? What they doing with religion? They telling you what it is. So therefore, the essence of true religion, again, they saying true religion. Why? Because we ain't getting true religion. That's the first part. Is that what? Of linking back specifically the ignorant followers. Linking his followers back to what? To what they claim their original source and innermost essence. Okay. That's what religion is for, right? I tell you, I don't do religion, right? I tell you, I go back before Latin, before Greeks, okay? Before them, it was just us. We had our own concepts. We had our own philosophy. And that's what I'm trying to explain to y'all, everybody who's hell-bent on religion. Watch this. Watch this. They're pulling you back, and they're supposed to be taking your innermost essence, right? They're supposed to be getting you to God, right? Right? If they get you to God, and their skin complexion, their skin tone is of another color, and they introduce you to a God that's another color. See where I'm going with that? If you can't, I can't help you. Okay, I'm just trying to bring it to your attention. I'm just telling you the truth. How you feel about that, I don't care. That's called enlightenment. I'm bringing something to your attention that maybe you didn't know. And if you didn't, now you do. Okay? Now, what I'm trying to tell you, everything I do is black. Religion is white. In this sense, watch this. And if it wasn't, why did Jesus, they give you, they tell you what color he was in the Bible. They tell you what color he was in the book. They still give you this white stringy-haired guy, and y'all went with it. If they lied to you about your God, I'll leave that there. In this sense, the term religion and yoga should be synonymous. Why? Because yoga gets you to know you. Religion tells you what to do. That's the difference. And understand this source, which is what? The underlying reality behind every object in creation, which we know is from yoga concept, is described as what? You ready? Unborn, undying, eternal, immortal, and is known by an endless number and myriad of names, both secret and public, some of which are, you ready? This is what they got named for their God. Consciousness, self, higher self, I like to use that one, God. These are all titles. Goddess, supreme being, divine self, eternal self, soul, pure consciousness, Brahman, the all, Muslims, Allah, you Jehovah, okay? Egyptians, Neteru, we in there. Creator, the absolute, the all, Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, the Great Spirit. These are all various names while arising from what? From various traditions and cultures, separate cultures, but in reality, they represent what? The same one divine entity, transcendental principle that we call God. By whatever name, it's still that same thing. So if you want to practice religion, by all means, knock yourself out. There's no problem with that. But don't try to tell me that's what, no. I got a different perspective. I follow a philosophy. So let's understand that. Let me wrap this up for you. I hope you got that understanding where I'm coming from with this religion thing. So I'm going to keep, stop. So the study, again, study, and you gain understanding of what creation is an integral part of a person's yogic movement towards what? Spiritual enlightenment. I start from the creation. Why? That's where it should start. Therefore, this volume of book I'm reading from will focus on what? The principles of, I told you, understanding mystical philosophy, not a religion. It will focus on the most important creation myths, since all the creation myths, just that, myths of ancient Egypt, they all related to the most ancient one, and the creation based on what? The theology. Ancient Egyptians had a theology of ancient Egyptian city, which was started back and called Anu, hence Anuian theology. Y'all hearing about the Anunnaki? We ain't going there. Don't get me started with that. But I'm giving you the first time. If you keep telling me about that, I don't want to have that conversation. It's a waste of time. Moving on. This is what I'm teaching. This is what I'm at. The Anuian theology, okay? It is based on what? Understanding that there is one supreme divinity from which all other deities, whatever you want to call them, known as, we call it the Paiute, God and goddesses, and indeed nature itself arises. Thus, let us now begin what? Our journey of what? Self-discovery of the mysteries of what we call Shita Paiute. That means we're going to study the hidden gods. We're about to learn the secrets of what? The God and goddesses, which is the aspects of one character. I'm going to end the lesson right there because I'm about to go into the next lesson, which is going to be titled, Who was the founder of the Neterism, and what is the lineage of the Netarian teachers? Where did it come from? Who started? Good question. I had an answer for you at the next lesson. At the end of this one, hope you enjoyed it. Right thinkers, may you all live to be 100, 100 minus a day. So I never know that my right thinkers have passed away. I'll be back. You know what we do.